it's Michelle with the Singing Baker again, and today I thought I'd bring you another appetizer. This is one that I like to serve, especially around the holidays. They are citrus sweet potato rounds. So I'll make them to add to the holiday table as well as a side dish throughout the year. They are basically sweet potatoes with a nice beautiful orange glaze. We will need some sweet potatoes, and the first step to this recipe is to get a baking sheet and prepare it with some foil. You're going to preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and what I've done is I've taken a fork and I basically pricked all of the sweet potatoes all around. You'll need to definitely do this step so that the air can escape when it's in the oven. And then we're going to bake those off for about 45 minutes or so. And then while we're doing that, I'm going to get my glaze together in a pan. So for our ingredients today, if you want to take a snapshot to the side here, you will need some sweet potatoes. You'll also need some pecans. I usually either get the full halves or I will get crushed pieces as well for the pecans. So depends on what you feel like that day, it's fine. You'll also need some orange juice, some light brown sugar. You'll need a little bit of unsalted butter, some cornstarch, some salt, and some vanilla. And those ingredients there are for your glaze. So stay tuned. I'm going to get these in the oven and get started on my glaze. Alright, so we are back. I basically took my potatoes out of the oven after about 45 minutes or so. Then I let it sit out for a little bit of time, maybe 20 minutes or so. You want to get it to the point where it's cool enough to touch so that you can peel them. So I'm going to go ahead and peel all of these. It has its basic shape, so you can still go through and make your slices. So I'm going to take each one, peel it, and then make some slices, and then I'm going to line the bottom of a small casserole dish that I have buttered, and we will then get the glaze together. Okay, so I have peeled all of my sweet potatoes. So they are soft enough that I can slice through, but they're still a little bit firm. So it'll be perfect for the rest of the process to get this together. Just going to make all my slices. I will take about half of my sweet potatoes and line the bottom of my casserole dish. Here's an example of the size dish that you'll need, and I've just buttered that. And then after I line the bottom, I'm going to put my glaze together. This is a glaze that has some orange juice, brown sugar, a little bit of butter, and then vanilla as well. And then we thicken it up with cornstarch, just so it gets a nice consistency. And it really only takes, the glaze takes maybe like a minute or two to come together, so it's really fast. So just going to finish slicing these. I will line the bottom of my pan, and then I'll head over to the stove to put the glaze together really quick. Okay, we are set. Alright, so I'm going to put these to the side. Get my pan here. I'm just going to start overlapping them in my pan here. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And give me a like if you enjoyed the video. Alright. Got about half of them in here. So I'm going to move over to my stove now to get the glaze going. Okay, just going to show you how to put this glaze together. It's really easy. We've got some orange juice here. Then I'm going to add brown sugar. Then I'm going to add some unsalted butter that I have melted. And we've got a little bit of cornstarch. Cornstarch is going to thicken up our sauce here. Just going to give that a little bit of a stir with the whisk there. Alright, so here's our cornstarch. Cornstarch is a nice thickening agent if you're doing any kind of sauce. You just need a little bit of it. So what I'm doing now is just whisking it really good just to kind of break up any of pieces of cornstarch that might be not broken down. Just breaking it up as much as I can. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of salt here. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil. It's going to boil for about a minute or so until it gets a little bit thicker and a little bubbly. And then I'm going to add my vanilla in. Then once I add my vanilla, we will be ready to pour this glaze over our sweet potatoes. So we'll pour about half of the glaze over the first layer of sweet potatoes. Then I'll add the rest of the potatoes in, pour the remaining part of glaze, and then we will pop it in the oven. And then what you can also do is sprinkle it with a little bit of the yummy pecans as well. Okay, so I'm just going to let this come to a boil. Okay, as you can see here, it's really starting to bubble. It's getting thicker. I'm going to add my vanilla in at this point. And then we will move back over to our potatoes and put this together and pop it in the oven. Alright, so we are all done with the stove. I've got my glaze here. It's just going to keep thickening as it sits. What we did before, remember, is we put one layer of the sweet potatoes down in our casserole dish. And another way you can do this is just plop all the potatoes at once, do your glaze, pour all the glaze over, and top it with pecans. I actually like to do half and half so that everything is really nice and mixed, so that you don't have everything on the top layer and then nothing below. So I like to do half the potatoes, half the glaze, the rest of the potatoes, oh, and the pecans as well in the middle. Then the rest of the potatoes, and then the glaze, and then top with your last half of pecans. So that way everything is really nice and mixed, and then when people go to take a bite, they get a little bit of everything. So, alright, so we're going to pour half of our glaze over. And I have got my oven preheated to 350. And what we're going to do is bake this for about 30 to 45 minutes until the sauce has really thickened up. Little sprinkle of our chopped pecans. And if you prefer to do whole pecans, you can certainly do that as well. And now I'm going to finish off the rest of my potato slices. I've made this recipe for many, many years in a row. There's a lot of good vitamins in sweet potatoes, so they're healthy for you as well as tasty. Okay. We're almost ready to bake this off. Just getting all my slices here. So it'll pretty much fill up your casserole dish here. Okay, gonna get the rest of my glaze on here. Just pour it all over. Give a little bit of love to each and every slice here with the glaze. And it smells really good with the orange in there. This is a great dish to do in the fall, but sometimes I get a taste of it throughout the year, so I'll make it as a side for whatever dinner I'm making. Okay, so this last sprinkle of pecans, and we're going to bake it off now. So I'll see you in about 30 to 45 minutes. Alright, so my sweet potatoes are out of the oven. I'm just going to have a little try here. They just really have this beautiful orange flavor with the orange glaze on it, and nice little crunchy pecans on the top. So I'm just going to have a little taste. I hope you enjoyed this one. Give me a like if you did, and drop me a comment below and let me know how you liked it.